A German pancake, also known as a Dutch baby or a Bismarck, has very little in common with a traditional pancake. It's made without any baking powder or baking soda, but rather gets its lift and light, airy texture from eggs, like a popover. And they're delicious, especially for breakfast. And today, Dan's going to show us how to make one.
So Julia, this is the kind of recipe where the devil is definitely in the details.
All right.
Super easy to put together, but you really got to pay attention to the ratios. So we're going to start with our dry ingredients. I have 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour here. I'm going to add in just a little bit of sugar. This is 3 tablespoons. It's kind of that sweet and savory combination, so it shouldn't be really, really sweet. So next we have a tablespoon of lemon zest.
That's a lot of lemon zest.
It's really going to come through. It's going to be nice and bright. We also have a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1/8 of a teaspoon nutmeg.
Lemon and nutmeg. Good combo.
Right? It's a good one. So I'm just gonna whisk this up. We did a lot of testing looking at the wet ingredients. This is 1 1/2 cups of milk. Then we have 6 large eggs.
That's a lot of eggs.
This is a lot of eggs. So for a comparable amount of flour in other recipes, we found 3 eggs, 4 eggs. 6 is a lot, but we really wanted this beautiful custardy texture on the bottom, and the eggs were key for that. We also have 1 1/2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. So I'm just gonna whisk this up until it's nice and smooth, like a nice even color. Okay, that looks great. So now I'm gonna add this into the dry ingredients. We're gonna do it in 2 stages. We're gonna start by adding about 2/3 of it. That's gonna allow us to really evenly mix it together, and then we'll finish with the other third. A lot of times when we're making batters for muffins, that sort of thing, we're very careful not to over mix them. We don't want to create too much gluten. What's nice about this is it's really a batter, so it's thin enough that you don't get a lot of gluten formation, so it's not a problem. We want this to be really smooth. And adding a smaller amount of the liquid to start with is nice. You're able to kind of contact all of the flour more, and that way you can get rid of all the lumps before you add the rest. Okay, now the last third goes in. And just whisk until nice and smooth.
Boy, very simple batter.
Have I lost you at any point?
No, I think I got it. Yeah. Dry ingredients in one, wet in the other, mix them together.
Exactly. That's why this is such a good brunch breakfast option. Comes together really fast.
And not too hard for that early in the morning.
Right, exactly.
Not too much to think about.
It's about all I can handle in the morning. Okay, so now we'll move over to our skillet here. So this is where our recipe really kind of goes down a different path than most of the ones we saw out there. So a lot of times you get your skillet as hot as possible. So you get it like ripping hot, pour in your batter, and then it goes into a really hot oven. And the idea there is that you get big puff and you get these gorgeous sides on it.
Like a popover.
Like a popover. The problem is you don't have much of that nice custardy interior, and we love that. So we're actually gonna take a lower and much slower approach to it. So what I'm gonna do is heat this skillet, and I have 3 tablespoons of butter. I'm just gonna melt these 3 tablespoons of butter over medium-low heat. We'll pour in our batter, and then we're gonna go into a cold oven.
Wow, very different than a traditional recipe.
And what's really nice about that is it's much more gentle. So what we end up getting is a thicker bottom, very custardy, nice bottom, but the sides still creep up a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of all about those sides, I have to say.
And it's super dramatic, but you don't dry them out, so it's really, really nice combo.
Custardy with big sides.
Yes.
I like it.
So the butter is melted. I'm gonna go in with our batter.
And also, you're using a non-stick skillet.
That's right. You can actually use a traditional skillet as well. We like using a non-stick as a little extra protection. This thing releases pretty well out of a traditional skillet as well. I'm gonna take this and put it into a cold oven and immediately turn it to 375 degrees. About 30 to 35 minutes, it'll be done, and you're gonna see the sides are gonna grow really dramatically. So Julia, a lot of times you'll see apples actually in a German pancake batter itself. And we tried a lot of those recipes, and the flavor's nice. It's nice to have the pieces in there, but it really prevents a lot of spread. So you don't get the dramatic high sides. It just kind of gets in the way of the texture. So we decided to actually reserve the apples and make a topping.
Very clever.
So we get the apples, but we also get the right texture. So we're working with 1 1/4 pounds of Braeburn apples. Braeburns are a really good baking apple, so they hold up. We're not gonna get applesauce. We'll have some nice pieces still. So I'm just gonna pop the core out. I'm just using this apple core here. I like it because it's got this cool eject feature. You can pop it right out.
So you're pro core.
I like cores, yeah.
Some people, it's a 50-50 shot whether you're pro or anti-core.
I like it. Usually when I'm working with apples, I'm working with a lot of them, right? And I'd just rather punch them all out. Instead, I'm gonna use my Y peeler, also a big Y peeler fan. And just
wow.
You don't like a Y peeler?
No, for me, I'm not a big core or a Y peeler fan.
What?
I like the old-fashioned kind of peelers, and when I peel an apple, I spiral it around to see if I can get the whole peel off without it breaking.
So I'm gonna start by cutting it in half. And we want 1/2-inch wedges that are then cut in half crosswise, so these nice little pieces like this. So to accomplish that, I like to cut first crosswise, and then just cut my 1/2-inch wedges. So I have 2 tablespoons of butter melting over medium heat in our traditional skillet. That's kind of why it's nice to use your nonstick skillet for the pancake. We're gonna use this for the topping. Okay, so now that's melted, I'm gonna add 1/3 cup of water, 1/4 cup of brown sugar.
You have the makings for a caramel.
It's looking good, right? So I also have 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon and 1/8 teaspoon salt. Now I just want to whisk this until it is dissolved, get that sugar dissolved. Now we're going to go in with cinnamon's best friend, the apple.
So this is not a very hot pan. You can really smell all that cinnamon and brown sugar.
What's nice about using brown sugar is it gives a lot of the same flavor of caramel, but very quickly, right? It's a lot more flavor than we'll get with white sugar. So I'm gonna bring this up to a simmer over medium-high heat. Then we're gonna cover and cook for 5 minutes. Let's put a cover on it.
Put a lid on it.
Okay, so this is 5 minutes and we've got big transformation going
that
here.
smells good.
Doesn't that smell awesome? It smells like the fall.
It does.
You can see we've got a lot of liquid that came out of the apples. We want that to reduce down and thicken up into a really nice glaze. So we're gonna cook this for about 5 to 7 minutes until that sauce gets nice and thick and glazy and the apples turn totally translucent and tender. Check out this reveal.
Wow. Every time I see it, I think it's even bigger than the last time.
Isn't that incredible?
It's amazing.
This is dramatic.
That is something else.
I mean, it's just incredible.
When I know it sinks kind of fast too. Oh, there you can watch
It's starting to go down.
Watch it as it goes.
We have these beautiful tall sides, we're gonna have this really thick custardy bottom. So I'm just gonna transfer this over to a cutting board here. It's kind of the easiest way to go. I mean, this is just a killer thing to put on your table for brunch or something like that.
It is a showstopper.
It's totally a showstopper. I'm gonna cut you a nice wedge here. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
Gorgeous.
Would you like a little bit of apple
Oh,
topping?
yes, please.
Okay. Get a little bit of that nice sauce on there too.
Don't hold back on the sauce. Well, now you can see that sort of custardy bottom. That was really important with a cold oven.
How is it?
Delicious. The edge is nice and dried out like a popover. I love how the apples aren't in it, because very often the apples release a lot of liquid and they mess with the texture. Having them on the side is a good idea.
It's great, right? That nice egginess that you get in popovers here, it's the best.
And it's easy. This is something else, Dan. To make an outstanding German pancake, begin with a loose batter using lots of milk and 6 whole eggs. Start it in a cold oven and bake until the edges are deep and golden and have puffed up dramatically. Serve with a brown sugar apple topping and you're golden. From our test kitchen to your kitchen, a fabulous recipe for German pancake. You can get this recipe and all the recipes from this season, along with our tastings, testings, and select episodes at our website, americastestkitchen.com. I might need another slice.
I can make that happen for you.
Thanks for watching America's Test Kitchen. What'd you think?
Well, leave a comment and let us know which recipes you're excited to make, or you can just say hello.
You can find links to today's recipes and reviews in the video description.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
See you later.
I'll see you later.